everyone, it's your friend Think Noodles, and welcome to Ask Think, episode number 154 for Monday, May 18th, 2015. And so in 2 episodes, it will be 3 years of weekly Ask Think episodes. That is insane. I can't even believe that. And that's actually right next, well, almost just right after my birthday, which is kind of cool as well. Anyway, last week, guys, I asked you someone asked you, if you could start a business, like a small business of your own, what would it be and what would it be called? And Deborah Janowski says, I would be a veterinarian business called Sisters Pet Care, because me and my little sister, since I was 7 and she was 4, we always wanted to be vets together, and that's so sweet. And I actually noticed it was kind of a theme on a lot of your episodes. A lot of your answers was it had to do with pets and animal care, because I know how much you guys all love animals. Kevin, she says, for next week's question, I would name it Hospital Development Technology, because I want to help people. And if we advance our medicine, then we would not die so easily from serious diseases like Ebola or HIV and probably cancer as well. Mariah Marrero says, if I had a business, I'd call it Mariah's Doggy Day Out, because I love doggies. And what I would do is I would feed the dogs and walk them, let them sleep and play. No cat allowed. Widgie6 says, well, I know that Abby Studios and I would do a small business called Art Commissions, where we draw for people. It's not as easy being teenagers selling art for people, but one day we will probably rule the world with talent, and I'm sure so many of you guys are talented with the art that I see. It really, really surprises me every day when I see some of it. The Super Potato says, answer for next week's question. I would make a business called Potatoes Pies. The business would sell really, really good pies. It would be because I like pie and I really like potatoes. You see my poor drawing on paint as my avatar. Noodle on, I might be eating pie right now. I might not be. You will never know. Snowpool Productions says, if I owned a small business, it would be called Excellent Edits, and I would edit anything anyone wanted, like thank you cards, t-shirt designs, and Minecraft skins. Very cool. Puppy Quake 2.0 asked Think weekly question. I don't know what the last T is, but anyway, I would own a donut shop called Awesome Donuts. We would have every kind of donut you could imagine. For example, cronuts, which is a mix between a donut and a churro, and it's really, really good. I think they're a mix, well, it depends on what bakery you get it from, but I think they're supposed to be a mix between a donut and a croissant. But either way, you're right, they are delicious. The Golden Hopper says, I would make a place called MC Homework. And you would drop off your homework and come back in an hour and it'd be done. You would pay $1.30 for every sheet of homework, including the back. You know, it seems like you've done some sort of cost analysis on it. $1.30 is so precise. Bob Evans says, for my small business, I would sell food, because when I'm hungry, I would just grab some and eat. Hashtag no hassle. And of course, the name would be Awesome Food. Rachel Panjaitan says, my small business would be a cupcake stand. Well-made cupcakes for only $1. There's also drinks like orange juice, milk, hot chocolate, lemonade, etc. that only cost 50 cents. And also the name would be called Twirly Swirly Cupcakes. The reason I would run a cupcake stand is because cupcakes taste so good, and it would be a good way to get the money. And yeah, that's a great business name, but I feel like as much as you love cupcakes, I don't think you'd be selling many of them. The Shy Flower says, if I could own a small business, it would be called Feel the Feels. Basically, you just paint what you feel. For example, draw smooth blue and purple lines if you're feeling down, fiery splashes when angry. You can buy the canvas and the paints. Painting itself is free, duh. The intention is to express the feelings through drawing and painting if you're not comfortable talking about it. What an amazing idea. I really, really like this. And this is actually a business that I feel like if you put it in the right place, it could actually be a successful business. Marco Contreras says, my restaurant would be called Pete's All You Can Eat. And why? Because there's not that many restaurants that just let you pay and eat all you want. All I know is sweet tomatoes, and I would name it Pete's because my name is Peter, and I love that it rhymes. Pete's All You Can Eat. It really, really goes together well. Jacob Magner says, my business would be a sports equipment factory called Equipment for Shipment because I'm a crazy sports fanatic. And amazing business name. It sticks in your head. That the way that it rhymes and everything, because it's not very easy to rhyme a word like equipment. So Equipment for Shipment is really, really good branding. LPS Silver Paws says, question for this week, chubby cakes, because I love to make cupcakes that make everyone not fat but happy. Ice Cream Gamer says, my small business would be a restaurant because I love cooking and so does my whole family. It'd be called Horses and Courses because I will serve animals too, not just people. If you bring your dog to the restaurant, I just won't give them dog food, right? And that's so cool too. It rhymes, Horses and Courses. Awesome 1637 IFY says, if I had a business, I would call it the PPN, Pets Now. People would schedule a time, and I would come over with my 2 cats and my 2 dogs. The person could just hang out with my pets, and in return, they would let me hang out in their house and eat their food and stuff. The main attraction would be my cat, Rocky. He's so fat and fluffy and sometimes let you use him as a pillow. I got the idea for this because Rocky was sitting in front of my computer and getting in the way. Call the PPN to schedule your time today. Evie Matthews said, I would open a coffee shop called Crazy Caffeine with funny capitals and lowercase because it's a coffee shop, plus it would probably be a booming business if I put it in a small town. Radioactive says, my business would be Rent My Brother because I just want to read in my room in peace and quiet. And my brother just keeps bothering me. Maybe I should let people rent my dad too. Yeah, maybe. Red Earmuffs says, if I should start a business, its name would be Banana and TNT, where I sell bananas to the minions and sell TNT to Kevin because he's my favorite character on your channel. Nice. My second favorite character is your other minion, Dave. Very, very nice. The Waffle Man 42 says, my business would be called Waffle Industries, and I would create waffle-themed computers and headphones and t-shirts and waffle-themed waffles? No. Whatever. The waffles will be maple syrup themed. Abscess7AJ says, answer this week's question, open a donut shop, call it My Donuts, Not Yours, and run Dunkin' Donuts out of business. Lana David said, I'd name my business Lana's Diamonds, where I sell real life diamonds for a certain amount of diamonds. 1 diamond equals, give me a very, very, very big number of diamonds. Yeah, scamming people. And for me, well, guys, I kind of have that already. I would, if I were to run a small business of my own, I would start a YouTube channel named Think Noodles and do gaming videos. Yay! That was really easy for me. But it's funny because I say that now because that's what I have. If you had asked me this question maybe 5 years ago, I would have said, I would have a small business administering websites and programming and stuff. And then 5 years before that, I would have said, I really want to own my own coffee shop because I love coffee and I would love to have an espresso, or I would have loved to have an espresso bar until I worked at one. And then I realized that the owner of an espresso bar, it's not a very, although I've been getting up very early ever since my wife started her residency, but you have to be at the coffee shop every morning at 5 a.m. to open it up, because you got to open the doors by 6. Everything's got to be ready because everybody's coming in to get their coffee. And, you spend a lot more time as an owner in the shop than I would have liked. Working in a coffee shop for a little while turned me off from actually owning an espresso bar. And I'd rather just make it at home and enjoy it. But next week's question, guys, comes to us from Impossible Dreamer Mythical Beast, and it says, what do you plan on doing when school gets out for the summer? If you live somewhere different that isn't currently summer, then what plans do you have anyway, but not for summer? And I think it's because, summer vacation is coming up very soon. So you guys, a lot of you, I think, would already have plans for what you're going to be doing for the summer. So that would be like, vacation, whatever. And not necessarily just vacation, just what you're going to do from day to day. But, don't watch YouTube all day long because that's not that interesting of an answer. And then for those of you guys in the Southern Hemisphere, I would think that you guys would get some sort of winter break. So you can put that as well. Now, before we get to the questions for me, I want to remind you to leave your questions in the comments below so I can have something to answer next week. Remember, only one question per comment, but you can leave as many comments as you like. Also, if the comments on this Ask Think are closed, go to the most recent Ask Think and ask your question there. And the first one comes to us from Ultra Hardcore Gamer, and it says, Think, I have come from the future to tell you, happy 800,000 and 1,000. That was my reverb effect right there. Well, that is not gonna happen today. Probably will happen tomorrow afternoon, evening. And I want to encourage you guys to get your 800,000 fan art in. Send it to me on Twitter. You can find a link to my my Twitter account, or you can find my Twitter username in the description below. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Also, you can email me your fan art as well, so it can be in the celebration video for 800,000 subscribers. That'll be a little bit later in the week, so you have a couple of days to do it, guys, but just wanted to give you a heads up. 1999 Blue asks, what are you planning to do on your birthday? And yes, it is coming up. It's in a couple of weeks. And, well, so my wife has a board review course for her boards, or her surgical boards, over that weekend. And it's not here in New York, it's actually in Colorado. So I don't want to be by myself on my birthday. Well, not by myself. I have Kofi, but the last time, I, on my birthday, she didn't even say happy birthday. So I don't think she's planning to this year either. She just doesn't really like to celebrate holidays, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm gonna, for the weekend, my wife's gonna be there for like 5 days or something, but, just for the weekend, I think, just Friday and Saturday night, I'm gonna be, I think it's in Denver. Yeah. I don't know if it's Denver. Yeah, it's Denver. Yeah, I'm gonna be in, and I've never been to Colorado before, so, it'll be just, a couple of days, hanging out with my wife, I guess, in the afternoons and evenings, because she still has the board review course, but at least I get to spend it with somebody. Nova Cat asks, how many live concerts have you been to? I can't even count anymore. I think I've told you guys this before. I'm a huge, my wife and I, one of our things in the summer is to go to Dave Matthews concerts. We always have, ever since we met. And, we've known each other for a pretty long time now. And when we go during the summers, there's a lot of them in a relatively compressed geographical area. So, because we live in the Northeast. So, we can go to the concerts in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, even down to DC, even Philadelphia. So, in the summer, we can go to 10 of them. So I would say that in total, of, other concerts as well, I've probably been to 150 to 175 concerts live. I know it sounds like a lot. Toad Games says, I heard you've had bubble tea before, or boba. What's your favorite flavor of it? Mine's tiger's blood, not the real, I would hope not. It is a combination of strawberry, watermelon, and coconut. I remember you saying you've had it before in an earlier Ask Think, or maybe you haven't. No, I definitely have. And the funny thing is, I really haven't gotten anything, because this is what my wife prefers, is just the milk tea one. It's just it's black tea with milk in it, and a little sugar, obviously, and then the tapioca pearls. And I've never really tried anything like strawberry, watermelon, and coconut. Maybe I should. But man, we have this really great place here in New York called Comeby. It's Comebui, and it's supposedly the original company that invented it in Taiwan. And I'm telling you, if you ever get a chance to try those, the tapioca is so good in those. Missy Sharp says, do you ever have to repeat questions from other videos and answer the same answer? Yeah, I don't have to, but I do. From time to time, I'll see a question over and over and over, and I'll say, you know what, it's been about 6 months since I've answered that. So I'll choose a couple of people and say, okay, I'm going to answer this question again, because it's an important question, or it's something that a lot of people want to know the answer to. Jack the Bat 45 says, hey, have you been in North Texas? The weather here is crazy right now. Tornadoes, storms, floods, just crazy. Yes, I have. My parents live in Dallas. So they're experiencing those right now. And yeah, they've said it has been absolutely insane. Real Gangsta Girl says, question for next week. When you were in your 20s, were you the party type? I guess in my early 20s, yes. When I was in college, I mean, it's hard. Yeah, I guess. Not really the party type, but I would go out on weekends with friends and go to parties, I guess, too. But once I even once I once I got later on in college and I got a little bit more serious about, maybe I should graduate and succeed. So I took school a little more seriously, so I didn't go to parties as often or go out as much. And then once I started working after I graduated college, I really didn't go out much at all. Emma Dexter asks, do you ever drop something and say, ow, even though the thing you dropped didn't even touch you? Yes, all the time, like always. Or if I drop something and it like barely touches me, for some reason, I always say, ow, even though it didn't hurt at all. Vex772 said, are you planning to start a new series? And if you do, can you make it about the Digimods, Mob, and Minecraft? Or if not, can you just start a new series? Yeah, I do have plans to start a new series. Obviously with 800,000 subscribers, I do like to start something new every time we hit a milestone. And you guys will see, I'm pretty sure this is what I've settled on. And it is definitely a new series, but it's sort of like a spin-off of another one. So we'll see how it goes. Clashing Wizards asks, when you first started YouTube, did you get a lot of views instantly? Nope, not at all. I think I want to say that it took me like 2 months to get 100 subscribers, something like that. I mean, I can't exactly remember. I could look back, but yeah, I mean, I think I was getting maybe like when I first started YouTube, maybe 20 or 30 views a day, something like that. Not a lot. I mean, I guess that's more than 0 or 1 or 2, but really, really not a lot of views instantly, no. Hello, what's up, says question for Think. I noticed sometimes on ThinkSlab your subscribers are in there, and I was wondering how you get you on one of the episodes of ThinkSlab as a subscriber. Not sure if you need to get invited or something. So I was saying, how do you be on it as a subscriber? Okay, well, first of all, they're not actually there. It looks like they're there, they're running around, they might be dancing or just sitting down watching, but those are NPCs, or non-party characters, and they're put in by a mod that I use. Now that said, even though they aren't playing and actually they're watching, their skins are there and it looks like they're there. And the way that they do that is if you follow me on Twitter, again, link in the description to my Twitter account, go ahead and follow me there. And occasionally when I need them for ThinkSlab, usually the day of or the day before, I will ask, hey guys, need your IGNs, which is in-game name, for the next ThinkSlab. And when I ask that, just respond to that tweet with your IGN. And remember, it's case sensitive. And I'll add you to the video. Now, usually some people will respond like 2 days later, and that's far too late. Usually, though, I give it at least an hour from the original tweet, and sometimes a lot longer for you guys to get back to me with your IGNs. So just follow me on Twitter, and you can be in a ThinkSlab. Lucas Formosa asks, what was your favorite thing to do as a kid apart from video games? I had to think about this one for a little bit. Actually, it didn't really take me that long. I take that back. I just had to go, what did I do? And when I think of myself being a kid, like for some reason I think back like to before I moved to Indonesia. And that's not because like, I magically grew up when I went to Indonesia and I was some sophisticated adult. It's just, I don't know. Just because when I was in Indonesia, whatever, doesn't matter. I was a kid then too, right? Okay, so before going to Indonesia, my favorite thing to do apart from video games, and video games weren't a huge thing for me even then, because it was, it was the mid to late 80s. So what I liked to do as a kid then was fishing. I used to love to go fishing, and anytime I had free time, that was what I did a lot. There was an empty lot just kind of like through our back fence and across the street. There was an empty lot there, and there was a lake and a freshwater, well, obviously freshwater lake. Well, I don't know. But yeah, there was a lake there, and I would go fishing all the time in the summers, during the year. I mean, I just loved fishing. When I got to Indonesia, there weren't really many opportunities to go fishing. And what I ended up liking to do a lot was, well, at the time we called it rollerblading because they were they were the only brand that had inline skates. But nowadays it's called inline skating. Noah Martin asks, do you believe in ghosts and aliens? I don't really believe in ghosts, but aliens, I do. And the reason I believe in alien life forms, Alf, is because I just find it really, knowing how vast the universe is, the galaxy alone, but the universe, we can't be the only form or the only intelligent life. It's not, to me, there's too many opportunities or too much out there for us to be the only intelligent life form. There's got to be others. Book YT asks, think I know you have a Mac, and I really like that company, but do you ever think about making custom PCs you can play PC games along with Mac games? From time to time I do. Only because Windows has much better optimized video drivers and game support. And I haven't really thought about making a custom PC, but I have thought about, well, I don't know, I do think about it sometimes, but with an iMac I have this huge monitor and I can't plug anything else into it. I can't plug a PC into it, so I'd have to have the two big monitors. So for me to do that, I would have to get a new monitor and then a new computer, because my computer's inside this monitor, new Mac, and then get the PC. Now, what I have toyed with the idea of, and I just haven't gotten around to it, really does take a lot of effort to do something like this, is putting Boot Camp back on this Mac. And Boot Camp, if you don't know, if you have a Mac, maybe you should try it, especially if you're having low frame rates in the games that you play. You can install Windows on your Mac natively, not like in a virtual PC or a window or something like that. You can actually boot directly to Windows. And that's because Macs and PCs inside are very, they're Intel chips. I mean, all the components are the same. So Windows will run on a Mac, and it runs very well. I remember when I first got this Mac, that I installed Windows on it right away, and I was comparing frame rates on the Noodle planet to between Mac OS and Windows, and I think it tripled my frame rate with the same exact hardware on the same exact world in the same exact spot. And on the Mac OS, I was getting like 80 to 90 frames per second when not recording, and then in Windows, I was getting like 250 frames per second. It was crazy. I mean, it's just that I love the operating system so much that it's really, really hard to motivate me to run in Windows. Joe, the video game buster Hilly, says, will you ever make a t-shirt not for Ask Think? I've made a few of them, and links to those are in the description below. Of course, I think, going to be working with a new company for better t-shirts and a new website, and things are going to be more integrated for me, but that's a ways off. Skylar Games asks, think, what was it like living in Indonesia? Oh, so scary. No, I'm kidding. No, it was really, really fun. It was really amazing, and I look upon it like really nostalgically when I think back about it. It was really fun. I made a lot of great friends. The only thing about it is because in the school I went to, almost everyone was in the same situation. We were all expatriates, living there fairly temporarily. Some people, were there for a year or 2 years, some for 5, but people would come in and they knew they were leaving. They weren't going to stay permanently. So you make a lot of friends, but you're all from all over the world, literally, that, when one person leaves, you might not ever see each other ever again. But that said, it was really, really fun meeting all these people, learning about different cultures, with your friends directly, not just reading about it in books. And the other part that was pretty cool was, the companies took very good care of their employees, which was my dad. And every summer we would get a trip back home paid for by the company. And, you know, we would travel a lot in the summers. And it's really what made me love traveling so much, is because as a kid we traveled a lot. And on our way back home, we would stop in different places. And we would fly around the U.S. and see my grandparents and my uncles, my aunts, and things like that. So it was really, really fun summers where we were always on the go and not necessarily just stuck at home with nothing to do. So really, really enjoyed it. Bernice Huey asks, why don't you do Pop Tropica anymore? I do. Every time they come out with a new island, I do one. And I think this Thursday they're going to be coming out with a new one. Depending on what time it comes out on Thursday, the video might be on Friday, but I will be doing a Pop Tropica island this week. Apple Lou asks, did anyone notice there's a zombie under the mushroom and it's been there forever? You're talking about the Noodle Planet. And yes, a zombie, I think what happened there is there were a couple of zombies in that area and one burned. And that zombie picked up the flesh of his friend, and he's sort of holding it as sort of like like a candle for him forever and ever. And since he's underneath that mushroom, he won't, or maybe because he's in the water, he won't burn, and he's just sitting there bouncing up and down with the rotten flesh in his hand. Simon Burkester asks, think, what is the enchantment on your bow that shoots arrows without having them in inventory? Well, it isn't not having them in my inventory. You have to have one. But if you have one, it is the infinity enchantment. And I think out of all the enchantments in Minecraft, I'd say it's up there. It's top 3. Because you only have to have one arrow and you can shoot as many as you want from that bow. So yeah, it's really, really an amazing enchantment. Novacat asked, did you know that Think's Lab playlist has over 6.5 million views? That's incredible. I actually didn't know that. I'm trying to think of the total combined views for Think's Lab. And I would have to say, because some of the videos have over 2 million views, but so I would say that total views for Think's Lab, the videos, because when you watch the playlist, it just means that, you know, you've watched the playlist, and that's one view on the playlist. You could actually watch all like 130 episodes of Think's Lab. It only counts as one view. But I would say that it's probably, let's see, 130. I would say it's probably close to 80 million views combined. I'd really have to look, but that's probably close. The Random Kid says, in Think's Lab, do you have more girl minions than boy minions? You know what? That's a really, really good question. I don't know the answer. I would say it's, as time goes on, it just gets more and more even. It's not 50-50. I'll guarantee you there's more of one than the other. But it's probably really, really close to even. S. Grizz says, my washer is laughing at me. I only wanted it to clean my clothes. Why? Help me. You know, you do need help, but I don't think the type of help that I could provide. All right, guys, that's it for this episode of Ask Think. Don't forget to leave your question in the comments below so I can have something to answer next week. Also, don't forget to get that 800,000 subscriber fan art in the next couple of days. I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for watching, and of course, Noodle on!